everybody, it's time to LOL. Listen out loud, that is. It's time for Anime Jam Session with DJ Ranma S, Mako-chan, and Ari Rockefeller.
Hey everybody, welcome to Anime Jam Session, episode number 605. We are that podcast that talks about anime, games, conventions, the fandom, geek stuff, and everything in between. I'm DJ Ranma S.
I'm Mako-chan.
And I'm Barry Mellon.
And Ari is off tonight. He's actually working mid-shift, so he'll probably be hanging out in the chat with us or something like that. If not, you'll definitely see him next week. So, how is everybody doing tonight?
Yeah.
A little excited, I guess.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm so-so, and I realize, like, normally right about now, I should be coming off of a NCIS high, because probably this would be when they would be kicking off the season premiere. But because of the strike, no episodes. So I've just been going through my list of anime and just trying to play catch up for the most part. And also, for those of you who are watching the stream, you'll see from time to time, you'll notice that I'm adjusting the microphone. Now, if you're watching, it looks like it's lower than me, but in actuality, it's at the same height. The mic is like on par with my mouth, so it's going straight across. It's just the angle of the camera, and I'm just like, maybe I should get like a little tripod and stick it around somewhere where it'll actually work better. So, also, I think I'm playing around with the lights to get a better reflection or something like that. We'll figure it out one way or another. Oh well. Now that we got that out the way, we are live tonight, week of September 19th, 2023, right here on Twitch TV. We're always live Tuesdays from 9 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern. You can always find us at Twitch TV/Anime Jam Session. And we're so proud to be part of the Voice of Geeks Network at VogNetwork.com. And you can also see them on Twitch as well. Twitch TV/VOG Network. They kick things off on Sundays with the Bobby Blackwolf Show at 8 p.m., followed by Orange Lounge Radio at 9. And come out and hang out in our Discord, VogNetwork.com/Discord. Every channel is part of the Voice of Geeks Network, has their own channel, so come through, hang out, and have a good time, you know? At least in our Discord, the pool is still open, so. For the most part. Now we got that out the way. We're going to go around the room, ask everyone how was their week, how was their day. Mako-chan.
Week and day have been interesting.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah, so, did I talk last week about the woman that came into work with Ick?
Yes. For the record, we have to call it Ick because what's been happening on Twitch and YouTube, if you actually say COVID, depending on how many times you say it, you can be demonetized or something like that. So, not trying to have that. Mako, please continue.
Yeah, I just, so, I found out this weekend that another coworker ended up coming down with it, so I have once again been testing myself. I did wake up on Monday with a fever and scratchy throat, but nothing came of that. Woke up this morning, still had a fever. Again, nothing came of that. So as long as all is okay, then I will go back to work or go back into work tomorrow. However, I found out tonight that my mother's girlfriend tested positive.
Oof.
She is still testing negative, but we'll see how long that lasts. So yeah, it's surrounding me, and I'm trying really, really, really hard to not get sick.
It's like as if COVID put a bounty on your head, you know, and it's trying to get you.
Yeah, the thing is, I haven't gotten it yet, so like I'm not trying to get it.
You know,
especially, the new variant that's out, because the main thing that everybody has said is that they're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And the fatigue is heavy with it. So I'm already tired. I don't need fatigue adding to that.
You know, so I'm trying to think. I think I had COVID ick for 2 days. I think I did. Remember when we went to go see Atlantis?
Yeah.
I tested like the day before for everything, and maybe I had read it wrong because it said flu negative, something about ick positive, and I'm just staring at it confused, like this makes absolutely no sense. And then like I think when I got back, I went and over to CVS and got tested, and it's like, oh, you're good. All right. Maybe I'm thinking maybe it was a legitimate fluke.
They do shoot off false positives sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I think it is because I do understand. There are people who have it, or have had it, and they don't show any signs whatsoever, no symptoms, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that was me, because it seems like if almost every year during the summer, I get a really bad cold.
Yeah, that's allergies.
Yeah, but I'm not really allergic to anything.
You don't need to be allergic to it. If there's enough pollen in the air, it will activate your white blood cells because there's a crap ton of foreign bodies in your body. Like that's what I'm dealing with right now is, the fever, the scratchy throat, and it all started going up into my sinus cavity. That's how I knew it wasn't ick. But the postnasal drip when you're sleeping or laying down, that starts making your throat sore. So that'll start affecting your lungs because you're breathing in pollen, and that starts affecting, your nose and getting it all stuffed. So you don't necessarily, I mean, that is part of it, but you don't necessarily have to have allergies when the pollen counts are as high as they've been.
Gotcha. All right. Well, hopefully you'll keep rolling ones and not get hit with the ick.
Yeah, I guess at that point it'd be better to roll 20s.
Fair.
Getting ick would be rolling a 1. But right. Yeah. As long as everything works out and I go into work tomorrow, I will be masking up going into work because I don't need to be getting any of the ick.
Fair. I can't say with the new microphone we can hear the boys in the background a lot better.
Oh yeah. I'm going to guess that that's Dean. He really likes the exercise wheel. And that's what you hear right now is the exercise wheel.
Gotcha. So my weekend day has been the usual per se, but one thing I did was I actually cleaned out my wallet and I pulled out all of these gift cards that I had, and it's like, what's the point of having these gift cards and membership cards and stuff when I have the app on my freaking phone? So I started transferring funds and activating the apps and stuff like that, so I can have a much thinner wallet. Because when I threw my passport card in there, it was getting a little bit heft, and because of the envelope that it came in, I was having trouble badging in, so I had to kind of flip stuff around. So my wallet is back to the way it was. Let's see. Friday and Sunday, I was out with friends, at a couple of bars, just hanging out, having a good time. And one of the things I did on Saturday was I went to Japan Fest. Now, Japan Fest in New York City is slightly different from like your typical Japanese festivals you would hear about. Because when you hear like Japan Festival, it's like a con and all. No, stuff like that at all. Japan Fest is a near year-round festival of food, and it's usually one weekend in a month, and sometimes it's 2 weekends in a month, and it's totally free. They block off a couple of the streets, and sometimes when they have it, you'll find like a couple of blocks above them is like your typical street festival with, sausage and peppers and all that stuff. But then you get to where the Japan Fest is, which is 2 blocks, and there's all types of Japanese food. There was one vendor that was doing Japanese style spaghetti, and I had totally like blanked out about eating there because my goal was to eat at like 3 of the 4 places that was in the competition. What they do is like about 5 of the event booths compete in a noodle contest, So you buy the food, you eat it, and if you like it, you vote for them, and that's what you do. So I had really good okonomiyaki, and that one was different from the typical that I would normally eat because there was a lot more vegetable and cabbage in there. A little bit more than I like, so I had to end up tossing some of it, but it was really good. I had literally fresh takoyaki. I'm talking about you bite into it and it just literally comes apart in your plate. It is just really good. I had that. I had some really tasty yakisoba. I really enjoyed that. So that's what I did. I stopped and got some mango bubble tea. And then I basically walked up and down it for a little bit. I did record video. I've been meaning to post it. There's lots of I've been meaning to post, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I really should. But one of the things that was really cool was when I had gotten off the subway and I had walked towards the event, I heard Smile Bomb. And for those of you who don't know, Smile Bomb is the English name of the opening theme to Yu Yu Hakusho. And the DJ was playing the English version of the song. Now, we've all heard English covers of various Japanese songs. Some are just covers, some are official. Now, for the dub of Yu Yu Hakusho, Funimation actually hired somebody to sing the opening theme, and I have to say, it's pretty damn good. But it's got to be good because somebody actually did an A&B to that song with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or in this case, a live music video to it, whatever you want to call that. So I did that. And one of the things I did was I wore my old school Ranma 1/2 shirt. And by old school, it's a shirt that I believe Mako got me a long time ago, either for Christmas or for my birthday. I don't remember. But if you remember the game Ranma 1/2 Hard Battle, and they had the icons of all the characters, there is a shirt which you can probably still you can probably still find it. It has all of the characters on the shirt, and at the top it has the Ranma 1/2 logo in Japanese. And there's 2 versions of the shirt. One version where it shows a grid of 4x3, and the alternate one is where it shows a 3x4 grid. And I think one of them you can't find anymore. So I wore that. And a few of the vendors there got excited over seeing what I had. What I was wearing. And I was telling you, Ranma 1/2 is my favorite anime. I had to. So, I didn't get anything free, but it was all good. But there were a couple of anime vendors selling figurines and stuff. And then there was this one table. They were selling vintage Japanese records, especially from the Showa period. I figured that'd be something up Barry's alley. I don't know, something like that. Sounds cool to them. So there was that, and they were also selling some anime titles, and they were little movie books that were available. There was a little pamphlet, a magazine, that explained what the movie was, and they gave the credits and stuff like that. And I'll get into that on our Geek Roundtable. But outside of that, I had a good time, and that was my weekend. And now, after coordinating with my friend Andrea for weeks, she's not working Monday. I'm not working Monday. So Sunday, she's going to either pick me up after she comes back from the Ren Fair, or I'm going to make my way out there. I'm spending a couple of days at her place to finally build her computer. So.
Nice.
Yeah. And the best part is she's finally getting this damn monitor that's been sitting here, because she's like, if you can't figure it out. You don't worry about the monitor. I'm like, no, this thing is still brand new in the box. Amazon sent me an extra one. They are not taking it back. I just want it out of my house. So that'll be fun stuff. Plus, I have another friend out there I haven't seen in quite a while. So hopefully we can all meet up for lunch or something like that. So that's been my weekend day. And Barry, how have you been since you've been here last? Nice microphone, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, no, it's been pretty quiet here in the dreaming. I've just been kind of like I've been doing projects, but it feels like I haven't been that very productive. So it's been a lot of kind of trying out new things and just like focusing on certain things and trying to get motivated, honestly. It's been really just kind of slow season. There's just been kind of like things that I planned for that didn't quite work out. And then there's been like things I've wanted to do that didn't quite happen. So it's been kind of a lot of reassessing and refocusing certain energy for certain things, which is not like, it's not inherently bad, right? But it's just a matter of like ramping up for something and then being prepared and then it kind of falling through. But I mean, the bonus thing is that something that I wasn't expecting happened. So initially I was supposed to be doing some fashion stuff for AUSA, but then I ended up in a situation where I got invited as a masquerade judge. So that was different than what I was expecting. So that was, so I'll be taking some videos and stuff for that. And I am looking forward to it because I haven't really had a chance. I did kind of go to enjoy Otakon, but then some emergencies occurred during the weekend, which made it so that I couldn't fully like immerse and enjoy and like use the escapism of an anime convention. I ended up in the hospital for like an emergency. And so it wasn't me. I was okay. But it was just a matter of I ended up there as support for somebody else.
That's
and
good.
So that was the whole of Saturday for Otakon for me, which I'm happy that that person is okay, and I'm happy that that person is safe and sound now. But it was one of those things where I went with the intention of relaxing, and it didn't really turn out that way, which is totally okay. But thankfully, it seems like this one, I mean, I'll have to do a little bit of work, but the nice thing is that I'll have a lot more time to relax. I wish I had gotten a chance to work on my costumes a little bit more, but c'est la vie. You just kind of have to enjoy what you got. So
You care to share with us what cosplays you're working? Are you gonna do or?
Well, I mean, like I was just gonna. I'm not gonna do any. I'm just
Okay.
gonna I'm just gonna
Just be
kind
you.
of vibe and do alt fashion for the most part. So
basically, you're in berry mode.
yeah, I'm just gonna be in berry melon mode for most of the weekend.
All right. On a side note, before we get into housekeeping, I probably already know the answer to this, but did anybody watch the VMAs last week?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
But I guess you also heard that NSYNC reunited.
Oh.
Yeah, that was for the Trolls movie, and then they just kept with it.
From my own,
Interesting.
I've been seeing posts from people about this. Like, there's supposed to be a reunion tour and this and that, and I've seen like funny memes and comments. Like, if your birth year doesn't start with a 1, you're not allowed to the NSYNC reunion concert.
Yeah, there was freaking 98 Degrees just got back together too.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
They're about to be 100 degrees soon.
What year is this? What
Yeah,
the F?
It's the 90s, friend. It's the 90s.
I
Don't
mean,
worry about it.
But the thing is, we should have known this was going to happen because Missy Elliott came back when she showed up out of nowhere at the Super Bowl halftime
the
show.
prophecies foretold.
Yes. Oh, yes. And she still got it. I'm just like, what is? And then I'm seeing this, like, if you didn't listen to NSYNC on Hit Clips, you can't go to the concert.
You didn't listen on Hit Clips. Oh.
Wow. I mean, look, I get it. I would say the youngish boomers and the elder Gen Xers had new kids, okay? And I get that completely. The younger Gen X and the millennials had Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and 98 Degrees, Britney. Look,
Spice Girls. Don't
Spice
forget
Girls.
the Spice Girls.
Aqua.
Wild Spice, my favorite Spice, by the way.
Yeah, she was the rejected Spice because she was too wild for them.
Fair. They already had Scary too, so like the combativeness I can see.
Yeah. But I mean, look, if they made an announcement that Britney Spears is doing a US tour, you bet your ass I am getting tickets to go one way or another. It's like no different from finding out when Alanis Morissette was doing a reunion tour. Well, not reunion. She did the 20th anniversary tour for Jagged Little Pill.
Mm-hmm.
And Mako remembers, because I think I had messaged you and said, Alanis is going to be in Jersey. We're going. And she was like, how much are tickets? We're going.
Yeah.
How much are tickets? We are fucking going. Okay? We were going to be there one way or another, so. And I see he says, don't forget all the reunions at 90s Con. Okay, I have to go to that next year. I have to. All right, so before we get back to the housekeeping, it's almost like everything is having its own convention. Now, CW mentions 90s Con. Basically, 90s Con is a 2-day convention in Connecticut where, if you remember the really popular TV shows from the 90s, that were on the air, comedies and stuff. The actors and actresses from those shows are at these conventions doing panels and autographs and stuff like that. So I'm serious. I definitely want to go. So, and CB says Lori Beth Denberg went to. She did. She is somebody I want to meet. And there's a couple of people from Full House I want to meet too. There's only like 3 or 4, and I'm like, I'm good. My 90s is full. My 90s bingo card is full. Even though you need 5, 4 is enough for me. We'll just do it down the middle where I can take the wild space. But yeah, definitely, because somebody was floating around a photo earlier today on Facebook of Kelly Williams, Reginald Bell Johnson, and the original wife on Family. There's a picture of them together and it's been floating around. So I'm like, yeah, I gotta do that. They should do, as Sirius says, they should do a subset with 90s dub anime, call it WeebCon. No. It would have to be called Otaku Convention. Because in the 90s and 2000s, we are otaku. That's who we are. Today's fans are weebs. Fuck that. Let them have that title. All right. Enough about that. Let's get into some housekeeping notes. Don't forget, episodes of Anime Jam Session are available on our YouTube page at youtube.com/Anime Jam Session. Click on videos, then playlists, and you'll see podcast VODs. Episodes are there. I will, if I remember, I will be setting up the online playlists for the podcast side, so you can just go to a podcast section and grab the episodes that way. That'll also be just as great as well. And also, we will be doing the second half of our convention tour. Another anime convention in Westford, Massachusetts, October 19th to the 21st. It's an offset of former staffers that used to staff Anime Boston, and I used to be an Anime Boston congoer till I stopped liking that convention for my reasons. So you should come hang out. This is the type of convention where you'll actually have time to go and grab food, enjoy panels, play video games, and cosplay. It's not like one of those cons where there's so much going on, you don't know where to start, and you don't have to fear of missing something if you're doing this or that. AAC, it's ample time to do everything, and it's not as crowded, but it just feels like a big old thing full of awesome family and friends. So, All right, next up is Geek Roundtable. This is where we talk more about the geekier aspects of our life, other cool geeky stuff. For those of you who aren't watching, we're gonna go to Mako-chan, and she's gonna tell us about the spinning colors on the screen.
Yeah, I didn't feel like picking anything, so I'm just showing off the pretty lights on my computer again. So, yay, pretty lights. Other than that, I have been reading a lot of smut.
Of course.
Of course.
We wouldn't have it any other way. Say what?
It's just what you do.
Barry, what have you been up to? What are your plans? I know you talked about some stuff during weekend day, but there's a couple things you can kind of divulge.
I mean, I guess I kind of caught up on the live action One Piece. I know that the bunch of people on the channel are not a big fan of One Piece. I'm a big fan of One Piece, so I've been enjoying it. For anybody else in chat who's been partaking in live action One Piece, let me know what you think. I've been enjoying it, but again, I also am one of those people that I separate the manga from the anime from the live action as like separate pieces of art. So that's one of those things that I've just been really enjoying it, and I'm excited that they are spoilers with the blessing of Netflix going to be filming a second season.
Well, that's if the strike ever ends.
That's true. Yes.
But we already knew that they talk about the scripts are ready. When they wrote the scripts were already written when they did season 1. They was already there. They're just like, oh, here's more. All right, so before we continue, I noticed, I actually checked Discord just for a second, and for those of you who don't know, I play Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. Me and Kuro Hikari-chan, we play on Mondays and sometimes Wednesdays if either one of us can't make it. We are now within a guild, and I just happened to check. They're all in there playing, and a part of me is like, if I had known that before the stream, I would have popped in and been like, I heard you guys were talking shit, and then disappear or something like that. But seriously, as I've mentioned on weeks that I've been getting figurines from Otaku Mode. There was that one period where I had gotten 3-4 right behind each other, and then when Mako came to visit, she dropped off a bunch more figurines that I had, and I was just like, I need to get through these. And once I started getting control, like, all right, I'm finally going to be able to get through these, and then I can talk about other stuff. 2 more figurines arrived. One showed up Friday. I think the other one showed up Sunday. But before I get into that, let me talk anime really quick. I finished Masamune-kun's Revenge R. Basically, I think the entire series is done. I thought it was really cute. To summarize, it's about a kid who kind of fell for his childhood best friend, and she insulted him. So he becomes this new and improved dude, and he swears revenge on her by making her fall in love with him, and he will reject her. Come to find out, there's a twist in there, and then there's another twist. I'll say this. They do end up together, but how they got there was quite interesting. The final episode, I thought, could have been 2 episodes because it felt kind of rushed, but it was still good. I also finished Yohane the Parhelion, Sunshine in the Mirror. I felt that the whole Calamity storyline, that was like the main basis for the anime. I felt like after like episode 6, they just forgot that it existed and be like, oh, we gotta bring this back. I am looking forward to the video game that's coming out later this year. So there's that. I think there's another anime I recently finished up, but whatever. But let me tell you about one of the figurines that I had purchased. Now, one thing is, I get the newsletters from Otaku Mode, so I know what's going on. And sometimes I will bookmark or a figurine and be like, I'll come back to it later. Sometimes if I come back to it later, it's completely sold out. So I go looking for it on Amazon.com or in COJP and see if I can find it for about a reasonable price. Sometimes I luck out, sometimes not so much. It is what it is. Now, there was this one figurine. There's a series of Sailor Moon figures out called Glitter and Glamours. It's like the it's like the figure arts, but it's a lot more colorful. Oh yeah, I forgot. I went to the Tamashi Nation store in Times Square. It's small. It's about double the size of my apartment. But
Wow,
yeah,
that is tiny.
it does explain why there was an hour-long wait to get in. I think they only let like 5 people in at a time.
Wow.
Yeah, they could have put it in a bigger place, but anywho, they could have bought the Starbucks next door and tore it down. You don't need another Starbucks. There's plenty of them in New York City. Plus, there's better coffee out there. Anywho, so the Glitter and Glamour series. So there was a Sailor Venus Glitter and Glamour figurine that I wanted, and I'm like, I will get it. I either bookmarked it and forgot, or by the time I noticed it, it was completely sold out, and I never got the proper notification if it was coming back in or not. And the Glitter and Glamour series is, in a way, it's like the Q Poskets. There's like, it's like 2. One is in one color, and the other one's in a different color, and sometimes it's a different pose. So there was 2 variants, Type A and Type B. The Type B one I didn't want, but it was a Type A that I was holding off for. So eventually, I noticed that Amazon was getting it in. Now, there's one thing I have discovered. You can go on Otaku Mode and AmiAmi and pre-order figurines. And you'll find out sometimes that figurine that you pre-ordered, you'll probably see it at a convention, somebody is selling it. And sometimes you'll see it on Amazon show up weeks later, coming out at a later date. So it's either a Japan release or a US release or an international release, something like that. So, anywho, to go along with my Au Nouveau Sailor Venus, Sailor V shirt, I have the Glitter and Glamour Sailor Venus figurine. And I'm trying to put it in a spot where it's not very little glare. So it reminds me of another series of figurines I picked up. But this is also Super Sailor Venus. This makes it even cooler. So I have that. I have no idea if it's going into the display case where the Venus Shrine lives. Because, number one, as I'm looking at it, I'm running out of space. I could probably put hooks in the background and hang little stuff, but I don't know if I want to do that. Until I decide on what I want to do with that, that's going to go sit back there. For those of you who are listening, I am pointing behind me, and there is a stack of figurines where I put the ones that are not on display. And there's a secondary stack behind me, too, where that's going to go. So, enough about that. We've played catch up. We're going to get into some articles for this week's show. So, Barry, tell us about the Spy Family game.
Sure. Yeah. If you have been after the shenanigans of Anya, as many of us have, the Spy X Family game is coming to the Switch next year. And the mega popular Spy X Family franchise is announcing a new life simulator game starring the series fan favorite character Anya. So, last year, Wit Studios and Cloverworks animated comedy skyrocketed to the top of the anime popularity charts across Japan and beyond, as detailed in the latest Nintendo Direct presentation. The franchise is now getting a spin-off game for the Nintendo Switch titled Spy X Anya Operation Memories.
X
This
is
is a life
silent.
simulator that allows...
X is
I know Spy Family. I know some people call it Spy X Family, some people call it Spy Family. I pronounce it Spy X Family. That's okay.
I'm just surprised this was in a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, right? It's not something that I would normally think so, but I feel like it's because of the popularity for sure. This life simulator allows players to assume the role of Anya Forager as her experience at both life at home and as a student at Eden Academy. Tasked with completing a photo diary, players must complete activities at school on weekdays, while weekends are reserved for quality time with Lloyd, Yor, and Bond. The direct showcases several locales that the families can visit, including beaches, museums, and aquariums. The game is scheduled for release sometime next year.
Cool.
Spy Family began as a manga written and illustrated by Tatsuya Endo. First published in March 2019, the series introduced readers to a master spy known as Agent Twilight, who forsook his past life and identity in order to devote himself with the protection of his home nation, Westalis. In an attempt to prevent war with a rival nation called Ostania, Agent Twilight takes on a unique mission to adopt a daughter that can infiltrate the prestigious Eden Academy and pave Twilight's route to Ostania's elusive Prime Minister, Donovan Desmond. Spy X Family fans have a lot to look forward to. In addition to the upcoming video game, there are new animated films on the horizon titled Spy Family Code White, as shown in the first teaser trailer. This movie's story begins when Anya decides to make her principal's favorite dessert, a feat that earns her much-needed Stella Award, and while on vacation, to the dessert's origins, discovers a mysterious chocolate inside a chest and eats it. But yeah, so there's a lot of new stuff coming out for the Spy Family fandom if you're into that, and I hope you guys find it a lot of fun.
Have you thought about cosplaying your?
She's on my list.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I've already have everything kind of patterned. I was looking into how much it might be to get her sweater knitted and everything. So yeah, I know she's definitely on my list. I've had so many people compare me to her even now. So
See, I can see you cosplaying your with the red knitted outfit, that or the long pink dress with the high collar.
Oh, the long pink dress. Yours long pink dress. I like her assassin dress, but of course that's me, my gothy side. So.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying, I'd have to see you cosplay the Thorn Rose to see it, because I don't know, I just see you more of like the fancy dresses and stuff. I don't know, just.
I mean, I can do either. To me, I think the pink dress was actually a jacket. If I have to go back and look because I haven't watched it in a little while.
Yeah, and I'm looking at a couple of screenshots. It seems. Yeah, she has a pink a pink coat, and there's one where she's wearing like a pink jacket or a dress similar to Jackie Kennedy.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look into that then. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of. Surprisingly, I'm not a big fan of wearing pink. But I mean, I do like prints with pink in them, but I'm not a big fan of just wearing pink.
Oh, okay, all right. So I know there's a couple of other your figures I want for different outfits, because I'm like, I want them, and I think there's one more Lloyd one that I want to get. So I think there's one of them wearing a black suit, where he's wearing a black party suit, and he has the pin. So.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, moving right along, we're gonna kick it over to Mako's fandom, Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah. So for the 30th anniversary, Viz Media has compiled the entire manga collection for Yu Yu Hakusho and put it online for fans to read. Despite the franchise's popularity, the manga has been hard to find, especially in the digital sense. Physical editions can be found online, but their prices are rather high. However, Viz Media has corrected this issue by uploading every chapter, which is 175 total, to their Shonen Jump service. The first 3 chapters are free to read, while the rest can be unlocked by signing up for their monthly service. Readers can do so for under $3. And yes, I will be doing this just so I can read this manga. So for those that don't know what Yu Yu Hakusho is, basically it is about Yusuke Urameshi, who is a teen delinquent until one selfless act changes his life by ending it. When he dies, saving a little kid from a speeding car, the afterlife doesn't know what to do with him, so gave him a second chance at life. So now he is a ghost on a mission, performing good deeds at the behest of Botan, the spirit guide of the dead, and Koenma, her pacifier-sucking boss from the other side. But yeah, so it is a little bit slice of life when it first starts. but then kind of goes really into fighting and spirit powers and a lot of fighting. Very, very much.
Guno!
Yeah. And then, Pretty Boys as well.
And speaking of Pretty Boys, are you ready for December?
I am excited for the live action. I hope it turns out well. Because Pretty Boys.
Mako?
I'm drooling.
Yeah. Yeah. It's once you know. I hope you just got a fresh thing of Kleenex by you. That's all.
Yeah. I am definitely a Kurama girl.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when he, turns into a really hot demon. But yeah.
Sounds good.
This is definitely one that if you like fighting, if you like supernatural, go ahead and read this one. It is definitely a good one.
I just hope that with the live action, it takes the base of the manga, the plot points, and kind of goes in its own direction. Goes back to what Barry said earlier in the show about how they can separate the manga, the anime, and live action. And I'm a firm believer of the manga is its own universe. The anime is its own universe. And a live action is its own universe. And each one should be slightly different one way or another.
It really depends on, I mean, if they started at the beginning, you can change some things, but, your main plot obviously has to stay the same.
Oh, yeah, that I understand.
But at the same time, I as much as, that first section is slice of life and then goes into the fighting stuff, I really hope they don't drag out that slice of life portion of it.
Mm-hmm. It's like,
because it really wasn't a long thing in the manga. They really drew that out in the anime, and they really don't need to do that for the live action.
Well, it is a modern time, so not so much. I mean, like, look at PGSM. Like, they stayed with the base plot of introducing the inner Senshi, except for Minako, and then right after they introduced the first four, it went in its own. It got off at exit 12 and went down the other turnpike, which was still damn good though. But now we're gonna talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Barry, didn't you cosplay from that series once?
Nope, not yet. Nope, I haven't even watched JoJo. So
okay, because I could have sworn you did a Suzy Q cosplay. I
nope, not at all. But I'm sure somebody did.
Mm-hmm. You'd be a pretty awesome Lisa or Yukako, either or.
I will definitely look into it. It's been a series that I've been meaning to watch, but it's one of those ones that I kind of want to, like, I want to watch it with friends that have already enjoyed it so that I can, like, feed off their energy. It could be a little anime fandom vampire.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched Stone Ocean. I should. Maybe that'd be my next project. So, again, how Mako had mentioned how Yu Yu Hakusho started off as a slice of life, and it went in its own direction of supernatural and so forth. In a way, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the same way. It started off in this about the stone mask and vampires and hormone breathing, and then it just went to fuck that. We're gonna keep the vampires, but we're gonna do stands, and that's been it ever since. Like right after I think around Battle Tendency, everybody has stands. Now I did bring up the aspect about Stone Mask because now you can get that as a jelly. It seems that konjac jelly lets you turn your Winter Odin into a JoJo reference. Is that a JoJo reference? So, as we said, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a long-running series from Hirohiko Araki. Has just launched its latest tie-in merch, a fine konjac jelly made in the shape of the show's powerful stone masks. While it's unlikely to transform you to a vampire like it did for Dio Brando, It will cook up nicely in your warm winter dinners. The tasty treat was made by skilled cognac artisans using water from the underground springs flowing from the Kibun Mountains, while cognac or konyaku jelly is often used for sweet treats. It can also be placed in soups and stews for added texture. A few serving suggestions can be done, like you could lay it out the actual stone mass surrounded by meats and vegetables, which is pretty nice. And it looks like it comes in a nice wooden box, and you see it right there. And if you happen to be at the Kyoto International Manga and Anime Fair, you can buy one for yourself. And if you are wondering, you can watch the first 4 seasons of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on Crunchyroll. And the 5th season is available on Netflix. Now, you would say, even though there's 5 seasons, 6 parts, you have to understand, if I'm not mistaken, season 2 was parts 2 and 3 together. Something like that. I don't fully remember off the top of my head. Enough about that. Barry, I think this is also your fandom too, Lupin III.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Lupin, and I have friend who did the voice for one of the films at one point.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm excited because this is actually tying in another one of my favorite art styles, kabuki. So, if you don't know kabuki, it is a masked art style of theater performance that is very popular in Japanese culture. It's a bit of an older antique style and usually is showcased in theater. So, Lupin the Third anime is getting its first kabuki adaptation in December. Inosuke Kataoka will star as the title role. The official website for Lupin the Third anime franchise announced today that a new kabuki play entitled Lupin Sansei, or Lupin the Third, is set to perform at Shimbashi and Bujo in Tokyo in December 2023. The first time in the anime franchise's 52nd year history that it's had a kabuki play adaptation. While most of its anime series is set in modern times, the kabuki play is going to be set in the Azuchi Momoyama period, or 1573 to 1603, the era in which the first Ishikawa Goemon actually lived. Goemon in the anime is the 13th generation, and it will tell an original story to depict the activities of Lupin and his gang, incorporating kabuki techniques and staging. The announced main cast members are, for Lupin, Inosuke Kataoka, 51. He was Kamen Rider Mars in Kamen Rider Game. Goemon Ishikawa is being played by Matuya Onoe, 38. He played Yoppa in Nausicaa Valley of the Winds kabuki play. Daisuke Jigen is being played by Emizaburo Ichikawa, 53, or Orochimaru in the Naruto kabuki play. Fujiko Mine is going to be played by Emiya Ichikawa, 64. Inspector Zenigata is going to be played by Shusha Ichikawa.
Interesting.
So it looks like it's going to be really cool, and I like the fact that they're going to be tying in some of the antique styling. So it looks to be a very exciting endeavor.
You know what I also find interesting? The official Lupin the Third's the official Lupin the Third anime website is a Tumblr page. That's kind of cool.
I'm honestly, with the way that social media has been advancing, I'm not surprised that it's a Tumblr page, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, if it's Tumblr, for some reason, I mean, it seems like, in the early 2000s, up until like maybe the last 3, 4, 5 years ago, it was all about having your own website, your own domain, and you had everything laid out. Now it's like, it's all about having that URL that links back to everything that you've done, or your own domain where it links back to your face, all of your socials, and your
like your Linktree, your beacon, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that too is just consistency, because we used to have more consistent social media websites where like one link would take you to everything that you needed, right? And nowadays there's not consistency. We're having situations where even the CEOs of their own companies aren't reliable. And so a lot of people have been having to jump between multiple platforms.
Well, it's not even that. It's more of like, I would say in the 2000s, we were more tech savvy because let's be real, as the meme goes, most of us learned how to code from our own MySpace pages.
Mm.
So I'm just saying, a lot of people just designed their websites, had everything up. Now it's like the advancement of web technology and social media. It's like today's cosplayers don't want to put a web page up. It's like all that effort they'll put into posting photos on their Facebook or their Twitter. I'm not calling it X because X is going to give it to you. On their Twitters, their Mastodons and Instagrams and stuff like that. Instead of putting it all on a website. And I just feel that if you have a centralized website with everything, especially if you're trying to be somebody in the cosplay community, it makes it easier for people to find the stuff that you did, But that's just me. I mean, starting out, there's nothing wrong with a Linktree. Starting out, absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I think with all the socials that I'm connected to, I might have to invest in one. I don't know. But let's get back to the matter at hand here. We're going to talk about Azuki. And I just found out a friend of mine works for them. Because what I try to do is when I put together the summary and I just look for certain sites or whatever, see if they have a Facebook page or something like that. It seems that my friend Evan works for Azuki. I guess he went over there after working for Crunchyroll, and I'm assuming he's pretty happy there. So good for him. So it seems that Azuki has added 300 volumes of manga to their website from Kodansha, which is pretty cool. So it seems that Kira Media's digital manga service, which is Azuki, they announced last Thursday that it has added over 300 volumes from 77 manga series published by Kodansha USA. They've added Fire Force, A Silent Voice, Kiss Him Not Me, Princess Jellyfish, Attack on Titan, and Eden Zero. The individual volumes are now available for purchase on the service, and the premium members get a 20% discount on all volumes as a part of their subscription. I will not go through this entire list, but I will read off stuff that is available because I have watched the anime as variant of it, and why not? And this is some of the stuff they currently have, like Air Gear, Attack on Titan, Cells at Work, Cheese Sweet Home, Domestic Girlfriend. By the way, that anime is a bit of a mindfuck. Eden Zero, Fairy Tail, Fire Force. And here's one from Mako, Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what else do we have here? Love Hina, which is actually a nice one, a classic one. Let's see. Parasite, which I actually have the old school mangas of that. Peach Girl, Princess Jellyfish, the Quintessential Quintuplets, which I hated that anime. I accidentally spoiled myself on that, and I did not like who he ended up with, so I said, fuck this, I'm not going to finish watching this. School Rumble, Shugochara, let's see what else. Wake Up Sleeping Beauty, and Wave Listen to Me. Now, Kodansha has ended its distribution of Simple Pub characters on Azuki and other platforms in January. They then launched its K-Manga service on iOS, Android, and other web browsers in May. And the service is exclusively available in the United States. Azuki also releases new titles every month from Media Do International and Media Bang as part of its deal to add 150 titles from the companies, which is cool. I honestly do not see myself buying digital manga. I mean, for me, it has to be more like a rental service. Like, yeah, I read it. I don't need to kind of keep. But that's just me. And now we're gonna get into a heavy story. This is something we've been discussing off and on the show for the last couple of months. This is in regards to Johnny's, which is a agency in Japan. We had discussed how there was some sexual abuse allegations that came to light and a whole lot of a giant of a cluster F. So And I believe Mako has topped off her bottle, so I think she's ready.
Yeah. So we had been discussing this for a little bit now. And you know, the sexual allegations for Johnny and Associates, Johnny Kitagawa, basically came back as, you know, he was, you know, he did it. So, basically, this has been going on between the 1970s to the 2010s. So it is the company itself is taking the following measures to compensate for the damage caused and to try and prevent reoccurrences. The company is going to be setting up a victim relief committee operated by 3 former judges, start a compensation application system, appoint a chief compliance officer to implement basic human rights policies, implement and enhance training for human rights and sexual assault and harassment, establish an organizational structure to ensure proper monitoring, and conduct ongoing dialogue with media and stakeholders regarding these topics. The company states that for the next year, all performance fees for the advertisements and program advances will be paid to the talent themselves, and it will not receive compensation as an entertainment production company. In related news, McDonald's Japan announced that it will not renew contracts with Johnny, citing a zero-tolerance policy for human rights violations. Similar reports indicate that Nissan, Kirin, Suntory, Tokyo Marine, and Nishido Fire, Japan Airlines, and Asahi are disassociating themselves with Johnny's and will no longer use their talent in commercials. Meanwhile, Mossberger confirmed that it will continue using Johnny's talent for advertisement. And I have to say that, you know, the main person that did this is dead, so now you're just penalizing their talent that have already been fucked with.
It's sort of like the whole saying, the sins of the father will fall upon the sons or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but, you know, at the same time, I just, you're punishing the people that have already been punished, and, you know, there's got to be a better way to do that. Anyway, so Fujishima, the former president of the agency, retired from her position last Thursday. She also publicly admitted for the first time that the agency's late founder, Johnny Kitagawa, did sexually abuse a large number of aspiring pop teenage stars in the 1970s to 2010s. Fujishima will remain the representative director and owner of the company despite stepping down as president. She states she was remaining on as a representative director to oversee the compensation to victims. Fujishima owns 100% of the shares of the agency, but stated she will discuss her ownership stake with new management. The vice president of the agency also stepped down. Actor, singer, and television personality Naruki Higashimiyawa replaced Fujishima. However, Noriyuki has also been accused of sexually assaulting young boys. When asked about abuse allegations, he replied that he did not remember if the reported acts did or did not occur. Regarding claims that he bullied younger performers, he said that it was possible that he had been stricter with them and that he may have done things when he was younger that he would not do now. He also said he has heard of the rumors about Kitagawa, but stated that he could not and did not do anything about it. All right, well, yeah, so you're just hiring somebody else that's a fuck up to your...
Picking up someone to carry, picked up, so they hire someone to pick up the rope and keep it going, you know?
Yeah, so now we can understand why all the companies are backing out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically, this started that an external probe set up in late May to investigate Kitagawa concluded late last month that Kitagawa sexually abused members of the agency for decades, and that the agency had covered it up. Kitagawa's family members had allegedly known what he was doing and did not do anything to stop him. Investigation team heard from 41 individuals, including former members who claimed to be victims, as well as senior staff of the company in its investigation. The probe also revealed that other company employees committed sexual abuse. The team added that in addition to the issues with the talent agency itself, the silence in Japan's media industry was one of the factors that allowed him to get away with it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The Guinness World Records has additionally removed from its website mentions of records previously held by Kitagawa for the most #1 artist, most #1 singles, and the most concerts produced by an individual.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, fun times.
See, given all of this, I wonder if this will go the way of I like to call Rurouni Kenshin. And for those of you who don't remember, the mangaka of Rurouni Kenshin was caught with kiddie porn. And from my understanding, he thought he could get away with it. And he was shunned for a while. A few years later, business as normal. He has a new anime and all of this and all of that. Now, looking back at the companies that turned their backs on Johnny's and Associates, I get that. And I understand that. But again, I don't agree with the fact that, everybody's got to pay for what Johnny did. But it's what has happened. What I see happening, well, maybe, is that the people that work at Johnny's, they're going to leave and either form their own agencies or work for another agency. It would not surprise me if somebody comes in and just somehow forces the owner to sell the company and it gets rebranded as something else.
I mean, at this point, that would probably be the smartest way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure that the person that you're selling it to isn't a dirtbag as well.
Right.
Because, as I said, by the end of that article, I can completely understand why all of these companies are still saying "fuck you."
Yeah, as do I. I just think it sucks that a lot of these aspiring artists and singers and actors and actresses are basically going to be shit out of a job because of what had happened. But it's hopefully some of them can get out of their contracts and go other places,
I mean, that would be a good thing if there are other agencies that are out there that would take them. Because I can see something like this allowing them to get out of whatever contract is necessary.
Mm-hmm. And as I'm reading the forums where this article is from, somebody says about Johnny's to not just lose business, but he better go bankrupt and cease from the existing period, and the name will be forever tarnished for what they allow to occur. And someone goes, that's not going to happen. Johnny's is so engraved as a part of Japan's culture. Their pay for each job is enormous from what I've heard. Even with a few sponsors lost, who might come back once the compensation fixes are done a little better, they still have a long way to go, though. They'll be just fine. They're getting tons of work from other places. Well, yeah, it's sort of like what's going on with the strike. Yes, no money is coming in from Hollywood, but there are other avenues of revenue coming in, keeping agencies afloat. And this is basically what is happening. This scandal is put a mark on them, but due to other avenues, what's sad and sickening is they're going to be all right. And as Bond 006 says, so in the end, it's all about the money at the end of the day. I hate to tell you, but yeah. And I wish my work phone would stop going off. It's past 10 p.m. here. The West Coast team should be offline. So, also there was an article at that BBC video. I actually bookmarked it, and hopefully I'm going to see if I can watch it this weekend or something like that. So, now that we got that out the way, let's get into the part of the show that y'all really like to stick around for. Meanwhile, in Japan. That actually worked that time. Okay. So let's see what we got here. Mako, Barry, y'all can go digging and see what you want to do. But I have a feeling I know what Mako's going to want to do.
I can take the first one.
If you want to, go for it. Yeah.
Alrighty.
The last one then.
See, I knew you was going to pull the last one.
Yeah, I figured Mako was going to take the last one.
We know.
All I can say is as long as he doesn't look as much of like a scrotum as he did in the first haunted house they made, okay? That's all I can tell you. That
wow.
They did Nemesis 30. If you had been there the year that they did, it was I think it was Walking Dead or something. It was bad, y'all. It was not good. Anyway.
And yes, we know that Mako does the articles, but still, I sometimes feel like she puts one in there that she wants, and hopefully no one grabs it.
Yeah.
Every single article that I put into any of this are things that I don't care about reading.
Mm-hmm.
That is why I put them in there.
All right, so
we hear your smile.
Yup.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take the second story, so.
Alrighty.
All right, Barry, tell us about the Tokyo government.
So the Tokyo government is opening an anime art archive museum this fall, and Ikebukuro continues to rise to its top-tier otaku destination. And after several years of flying largely under the pop culture radar, Tokyo's Ikebukuro neighborhood has risen to the status of one of the city's greatest otaku entertainment districts. That got kicked up a notch this past spring with the opening of a gigantic new flagship store for an anime specialties shop, Animate.
I'm going to have to write that down.
But that's not the only noteworthy Ikebukuro anime event coming in 2023. Next month, we'll see the opening in Ikebukuro of Anime Tokyo Station, alternatively just called Anime Tokyo, ostensibly to help avoid making people think that it's part of the 4 trains Tokyo Station, which is on the other side of town, which is a quick 4-minute walk from the Ikebukuro Station. Anime Tokyo will be a 3-floor facility dedicated to Japanese animation, and it will include an archive of anime cells and production art materials maintained by the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. Anime is a killer app of Tokyo and of Japan, said Tokyo Governor Yoriko Koike in speaking about the Anime Tokyo project. It is something that should be utilized and treasured. I hope to make Anime Tokyo a place where people can come together and foster their imaginations. Anime Tokyo will operate on the first, second, and I think they meant to say third basement level of the Fujikyu building, East Building 5 office, near Minami Ikebukuro Park, in the space previously occupied by the Maruzen stationery store, and the archives will be located in the basement where tens of thousands of pieces of anime art, including cells from landmark series Tetsuya Atomi Astro Boy, will be stored with a portion on rotating display. On the ground floor, visitors will be able to participate in workshops where they can experience how animation is created, and the second floor will house rotating exhibitions of popular series and related merchandise shop. Anime Tokyo is scheduled to open on October 31st, presenting a convenient alternative to everyone who's heeding the plea from the head of Tokyo's Shibuya Ward to stay away from that part of city on Halloween.
Makes sense. All right. So now we're going to get into our next story here. What's cool is there is an inn that allows you to wear samurai armor while playing video games. And there is a picture of a guy wearing samurai armor on a DDR machine. Chalked it up on the list of things that I will not do. You think it's hot and sweaty now playing DDR. Imagine doing it while wearing samurai armor. Jeez. I give the guy credit though. So, when travelers choose to book a night at a ryokan, which is a Japanese-style inn, instead of a more modern hotel, the traditional ryokan atmosphere is usually the reason why. There's an undeniable appeal to understand the elegance of classical Japanese interior design characterized by tatami reed floors, futon sleeping mats, hanging scroll artwork, and large communal baths. But what also, in addition to that traditional atmosphere, many ryokan have a retro vibe. Especially at ones with a hot spring bath, which include common areas for guests to relax in or after their soak. You'll often find a collection of arcade video games, but always ones from several decades back. Steeping yourself in traditional culture, doing a bit of retro gaming are both parts of the full ryokan experience. And one in Hokkaido has now combined both by offering guests an option to play video games while wearing full samurai armor. Takasago Onsen is a ryokan located in the town of Ashihikawa, Hokkaido Prefecture. As of this month, they've added an armor-wearing option to their accommodation plans, which allows you to strap on a lamellar, don a helmet, and enjoy yourself in the common use area. That's pretty cool. In particular, the manager recommends suiting up for a gaming session as they've got a pretty nice selection of old school coin-up games in the corner. You will find 1999's Dancing Stage featuring True Kiss Destination, part of Konami's DDR series. And I could have sworn Dancing Stage featuring True Kiss was a UK one. I didn't know it was in Japan. Learned something new. But you'll also find other 80s titles such as Sega's Outrun, Hang On, Power Drift, Pac-Man. You'll also find Final Lap 3 and Cosmo Gang, both released in the early 90s as part of the lineup. And what's interesting about Cosmo Gang was, for me, I used to have a friend named Damon, and we used to hang out in shopping in the malls on a regular. We went to one of those Chuck E. Cheese-like places, and he would just go in and just play these games and get all of these tickets and stuff like that and just redeem them for his mom. Cool. There was one that was called Cosmo Gang, where it was like a light gun. You were shooting these aliens and throwing them back. I had happened to be in Dragon's Den, which was a name of a geek store, which is similar to Forbidden Planet up in Westchester. I happened to be in there one day and actually saw the import game Cosmo Gang. And I was like, oh shit, it's based off of that? That's kind of cool. Now, other memorably surreal photo ops prevent themselves in the ryokans Gotcha Machine and Dagashi, which is inexpensive retro candy, as well as facilities table tennis and air hockey tables. That's cool. The samurai armor option is limited to one party per day, though 2 people can take turns, though unfortunately, as with Universal Studios Japan's Resident Evil Survivor Horror Maze, which we are going to get into momentarily, the armor-wearing experience is not available for elementary school-age guests. The option does add an additional 2,000 yen, which is about $14. And putting on the armor takes about a half hour, and the staff is happy to assist guests who have no first-hand experience in the process. Which reminds me, I need to be checking the dollar to yen ratio because I will be buying yen once it hits 150. Now we got that out the way. Mako, I do believe you wanted to talk about let's see, what is this here? Resident Evil.
Yeah. So there is a technically biohazard survival horror maze opening up in Universal Studios Japan, and they're not allowing little kids in.
Good.
So there's a crew of ghost-type Pokemon hanging out at Universal Studios Japan right now as part of the park's family-friendly Ha 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 Halloween party celebration. But if you prefer your Halloween-themed park events to be legitimately scary, yet still with a Japanese pop culture element, you'll be happy to know that Universal now has a Resident Evil or Biohazard survival horror maze, and the management is adamant that it's not for little kids. So Biohazard The Extreme Plus just opened on September 8th, and it draws its inspiration from Resident Evil 2. Just like in the classic game, you're trapped inside the Raccoon City police station during a zombie outbreak. And it turns out shambling undead are only some of the monsters you have to deal with while trying to solve a series of puzzles and escape to safety. Biohazard The Extreme Plus is also part of Universal's Halloween festivities last year, but the park says that this year's version has been expanded to feature new monsters and characters to encounter. For starters, the new attraction's description mentions that you start by picking between one of two routes to follow, paralleling Resident Evil 2's game structure, either the Leon route, which has you coordinating with police officer Leon Kennedy, or the Claire route, which begins with Claire Redfield arriving in Raccoon City looking for her older brother Chris. As for characters, the 2023 Biohazard The Extreme Plus website lists Leon, Claire, mysterious spy Ada Wong, and young orphan Sherry Birkin as figures from the game you might encounter. On the creature side, zombies will of course appear, and so may Lickers, the Tyrant, Ivy or Plant 43, and the G Creature. Continuing the connection with video gameplay mechanics, in Biohazard The Extreme Plus, your complete success isn't guaranteed. While we doubt unsuccessful players are actually devoured alive or turned into zombies, you do get an end-of-game ranking depending on how many puzzles you solve and objectives you complete. And the course of the story and the events that take place change depending on how well you do. Also, while not explicitly mentioned in the attraction description, multiple preview images show a player clearly firing a gun at the monsters. So it seems like there will be some sort of option for confronting them directly and not just running and hiding. It all sounds like a pretty intense experience, as does the fact Universal Studios Japan says that only guests aged 13 and up can play Biohazard The Extreme Plus, which will be running until November 5th.
Sounds good.
That is definitely something I would not mind doing.
Sounds like one of the best escape rooms that's being created, and America will not get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very sad that so many of these geek-themed escape rooms are available in Japan. And when they do bring it over, I mean, they bring over one or two, but not even, in ways that it really works out well, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing that they really brought over that was similar was the Attack on Titan event or something where they had it in California, but they never bring it over to the East Coast and they never really translate it the same way. So
There was one that they brought to New York.
Yeah, that was the Attack on Titan one. It was in Staten Island.
Yeah. I thought there was another one.
Oh, it was in Staten Island. Okay.
Yeah, how else you going to get people to go to Staten Island? Anywho, I could hear them getting a little angsty about that. Shall we go ahead and wrap up the show?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and cue up the track. So, if you like tonight's show, tell a friend. They in turn will tell another friend, and so on and so forth. We're independent bloggers, independent podcasters. We do this for the fun of it. So what we like and don't like, we're basically telling you that as is. So if you have any questions about the show, drop us a line at podcast@animejamsession.com. Again, that is podcast@animejamsession.com. We're here to believe you. Don't forget to check out our website, which is animejamsession.com. You will find our weekly podcast, anime tips and cosplay tips and tricks, anime reviews, cosplay interviews, links to our YouTube page of convention video coverage, links to our Facebook fan page of cosplay coverage, editorials, and so much more, and then some at animejamsession.com. And don't forget to check out our podcast on podcasting apps that are out there. Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever app you use for getting podcasts. Definitely check them out. And if you can, leave us a review. We'd really appreciate your kind words. Even if they're not so kind, we'd still appreciate them one way or another. And don't forget to follow us on our social media pages, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. It's all Anime Jam Session. Follow us on those. That way you know when we're going live, when we have new articles up, and then some. And thank you so much to those who are following us on those. We really couldn't do it without y'all. And if you're participating live, if you scroll down, there's our tip jar where you can click on it and donate money to the show via Stream Elements, Ko-Fi, and Streamlabs. There's also, you can cheer us on with bits in the chat room, or you can sub to the channel and give out gift subs. Every little bit goes a long way. So we're going to go around the room for last words. Mako-chan.
I am so tired. I cannot wait to go to bed.
Last words. Barry.
I am excited to debut my 4K IRL textured model this weekend at Anime USA. I'll see you there.
My last words. I'm still getting used to this LED light, this new lamp light that sits on top of my monitor, because late at night, the scene light reflect kind of messes with me, and it feels like my area is not dark enough or not light enough. And let's see, what else? There was something else that was on my mind, but I can't remember what it is. But anywho, I'm gonna go, now I remember. Right after this, I'm gonna go back to play more Sea of Stars. Sea of Stars is basically plays like Chrono Trigger, but the graphics and music is like Secret of Mana, and thanks to Dark Tip 2, I'm kind of hooked on it. So that is it. End of list. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. So I'm Ranma.
I'm Mako-chan.
And I'm Barry Mellon.
Great fight, great night. See you next week.
Good night.
Jamatere.
Say goodnight, Mako-chan.
Good night, Mako-chan.
Say goodnight, Barry.
Good night, Barry.
Perfect. Awesome. We are out of here. See you all next week, and Ari will be here. Will you be here? Hope to see you there. See you next week.
This podcast has been a production of Anime Jam Session and AJS Productions. No fanboys and fangirls were hurt, maimed, shot, electrocuted, or pistol whipped in this episode. For now. The views, opinions, and thoughts expressed on this show do not reflect the staff or the network as a whole. But we're still right, damn it. For transcripts of this episode, start typing. Check us out at animejamsession.com and vognetwork.com for more information about us and other programming. Jamatane!